wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I always daydreaming, never imagined I lose my spark.
Right.
Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground. I'm rising, I'm soaring above it.
Hi.
It all, I just wanna
Can
be
you hear me?
Finally, I wanna be free.
Can you hear me okay?
I wanna be free. Finally.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay. So let's do this. Uh wonder what you got.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Jump off and come back in. Jump off and come back in. Yeah. So while she's getting that adjusted, man, welcome to the Freight Trapping Podcast. I am your host, Mr. James Roberts, and we got Miss Angelique Temple in the house. And she is a female trucker, and she sits on the board or panel of FMCSA and all of that. Yeah, yeah. Here we go.
I was like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, and you. So honored
I'm
to be on your
great,
show. Thank
man,
you
but that's
guys so
highly
much.
favored. I'm for real. That's not a cliche for me. I'm
That's
blessed.
right.
I'm serious. Man, this is Miss Angelique Temple.
Hey.
She is I'm not going to say a woman trucker. She trucks.
I like
And
that.
yeah, she trucks. And she is, man, she is just, I mean, she commented on one of the TikToks. And when anybody comment and you're a truck driver, this is what I do this for, is because I like to know your story. And she goes beyond, especially people that go beyond being truck drivers, right?
Well, we
She's
appreciate
beyond a
it.
truck driver, even if it's one step, which is I'm just like, okay, I need that. So,
We need you. We need you because without you guys out here putting us out here, bringing back the real and talking about what's going on outside of what people normally just hear on conversations on the CB, we would be anywhere. Everybody is part of the industry. Trucking is not just getting behind the wheel, it's everybody, including you guys, the people that are dispatchers, the brokers, us, it's everyone as a whole. So thank you. Thank you.
I thank you too, and that's one reason why I pushed to move into this arena, which is podcasting for truckers, is because I got to look at it from another standpoint when my wife decided to jump back into dispatching and
Okay.
brokering and back office work and opening our trucking academy and training and getting ELD certified. And so when
And
so
the list goes on.
yeah, yeah, and we doing this thing together, and
Yes.
and and that's what moved me forward. So then jumping right into this, let people know who you are, where you're from. Give us a long or short end of your resume.
Okay, well, I am Angelique Temple, aka Miss Tornado, owner and operator of Tornado Transport. I'm originally born and raised in Far Rockaway, Queens, New York.
I hear
I now reside for, you hear it? I'm sorry, 20 years.
now
Plus,
you.
I've been in Virginia and I still have not lost the accent. So, I was a company driver for 20 plus years. I'm a 23, almost 24-year veteran in this industry. I now run my own business, raised six successful children. All of them are now grown, and that's just me in a nutshell. I'm on the board of the FMCSA on the driver panel. I am on the image team for Women in Trucking, which I've been since 2015. I mentor in and out of the programs. I mean, I teach, I encourage. I'm like, if I can do it with six kids, come to me with no excuses. Please don't tell me about the one child that cries all the time that you can't find daycare for, because I'm the wrong one. I'm not going to give you the answers you want to let you back out of this. We're not doing that.
Oh, go ahead, keep going, take off.
So basically, I when COVID hit, I always knew it was a dream of mine. I always said I'm gonna be my own boss and filter into more of the transportation. Like, it's not just about just me in one truck. It's about me having a whole transportation company along with other things I'm doing. And so when COVID hit, I was like, this is it. Kids just the last two just graduated out of high school and I'm gone. So I did that, and it was just a whole separate but just the same kind of different feel. I was self-dispatched at the company I was, and I always pulled hazmat, and I switched to a 53-foot drive-in where I don't pull hazmat, but I'm still the same person. I'm still the same Miss Tornado on a CB. I'm always gonna be me, and it's just different between me making someone else's money and me making my own. That's it.
So you say you're an empty nester.
Yes,
Got your kids out, then you decided to jump out. So
yes.
you had a plan in place.
Since day one. Since day
So
one.
so before we get into the good stuff, which is the women in trucking, the thing you're a part of, and the seat you hold, or the FMCS board you're a part of. Let me do my thing because I really want you to dig into that part of your
Okay.
resume. So with you jumping in and you've owned your transportation for how long now?
It's been I just made my full year. I made like a video and everything. October is my
Congratulations.
first full year. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So let me jump right there. Uh a couple of hours ago I kind of followed, some guys on YouTube, and sometimes it'll pop up on my timeline. And he was saying that he'd been getting a lot of calls that a lot of new owner operators are jumping out of trucking.
Right. That is, I've seen it too. I've heard it. I've seen it too.
What have you done or doing, or are you just built for this after 23 years? Some of the headaches and stuff that it comes with being an owner operator. How are you what did you do to start, and what are you doing to survive some of this stuff that's going on?
Okay, well, to start with, I've been preparing for years,
Mhm.
so it wasn't like a just let me just jump out there. It was just timing was everything. I wasn't willing to risk my children growing up without me being around, so that was not happening. But as far as the drivers that are jumping out and saying, "Hey, this is not for me," I think it comes down to a couple of things. The first thing is how long have they been in the industry before they decide to be. Now, I meet people that have been driving for 2 years and they already are owner operators. They haven't really had the chance not only to experience what it feels like to be a company driver with the shippers and the customers, but they don't have the how you say they don't have the teaching to say, hey, this is what you need to do. So they're seeing the owner operators and they're saying, hey, this is what I want to do, but they don't have the know-how. So they have a misconception of what trucking is. They see the owner operator's name on the side and they're like, hey, we need to make some money. It's more than that. It's more than that. So if you don't have the teachings to say it's not always a good day in trucking, the rates are not always high. The diesel is not always low. We all know that. So if you don't know that there's good days and bad days and you don't set yourself accordingly, like perfect example, if it's a Monday and I'm starting out on Monday, I will take the hit on Monday if it's going down south and I know that this maybe this week or next week down south those are in abundance. I'll take that small hit according to my standard when I move my truck for a certain amount of mile. I set mine at $3 a mile. That's my minimum. I will take a small hit because when I get down south, I'm running. I'm running. They have to know to give or take, and they have to know what it takes to keep a truck up, meaning maintenance, meaning what you have to do, meaning keeping your truck going good, meaning getting the brokers, create that relationship and keep it. You're not a company driver. A lot of people are coming out here as owner operators with a company mentality. You're not going to make it that way. You are the boss. And even when you're a company driver, you're the boss then, because without you representing the company, there is no company. And as soon as they get that down packed, we will all be better truckers and we'll be able to set our rates at what we want. And we don't have to negotiate because it's going to be there. It's going to be there.
Let me tell you something. Everything you just said, you sing it to the choir. You sing it to the choir because I can tell when people are on the same page because I'm a safety and compliance guy. I'm a
Hmm.
safety and compliance guy. So I try to stay on top of anything FMCSA puts out, and
Right.
especially with us having a training academy. You said something. How important is it to have a good relationship in this industry?
When it comes to the brokers, customers, or shippers, it's very important. It's your livelihood. It is inevitable that you will fail if you don't have that relationship. I can go into a shipper today and act like I'm not feeling like this. They should know that. When I walk in, every shipper, every customer, they know I come in with a smile. Cause like I tell the other drivers, I might be driver number 5, but I might be driver number 50. I might be driver number 500. And I've seen and heard the way the other drivers talk. That's not me. It's not gonna be me. They have to get to where the point they learn how I used to teach, because I was a hazmat trainer before. Whatever you going through, you leave it out the truck until you get back out the truck, because that's the only way that you're going to make it. And without the capability of having the customer service to deal with the brokers, me being an owner operator, I don't really have to look on the board that much. All is send 3 texts to 3 different people. This is where I'm going. This is what I need. They know I'm reliable. They know I'm dependable. They know how I run, because they say, oh, no, that's Angie. Let's go and get this done, because they know it's me. And anybody who I bring in under me when I expand my fleet, they're going to have to be the same way.
Man, that but you just spoke everything that I've been trying to push when these new guys they come to me with a consultation about getting into trucking is I'm big on relationships. I believe that the better relationship you have with a broker, even before you become an owner operator,
Right.
is what's going to drive your company. Because a lot of people they no dispatcher, no broker. I don't believe that. They help push this industry, and
Right.
everybody has a gear. So my next question is, you were talking when you went into relationships, and then you went into you had already while you were working with for a company, you were already planning. You were
Yes.
already
I
planning.
was planning for years. So I'm sure if anybody at the old company sees this, they'll be like, do what? Man, she's slick. But
Hey, before you go into that, before you go into that, I always tell anybody who starts a company and they got 5 or more trucks and they have 5 people driving for them, man, if you don't sharpen their iron, your iron won't be sharpened.
that's right.
So expect those drivers to want the same thing you have, which is to be
Right.
their own boss.
That is correct.
Go
That
ahead.
is correct. So when I was a company driver, I had been searching and searching, and some deals came up, and I said, no, not the right deal, not the right time. But in the meantime, I was self dispatched. So what that means to the company world is that I didn't have a dispatcher dispatching me. I was
Right,
in direct contact with, I had 3 of the highest customers that was around, including when you're talking about hazmat and tankers. So
right.
I was talking to the shippers, talking to the customers. It was my job to arrange the load. So if I say you wanted this load at 7 in the morning, how about I bring it to you at 5, because I have 2 more loads I have to deliver, then I have to go to Carolina. So it was my job to make sure that everything got done. Hence the word self dispatch. So I was the only driver in the whole company that was self dispatch, and I never missed a load. I never was late for a load, and to the
Whoa, whoa,
point where
whoa, back
they
up,
could.
back up. How important is that?
That
Man, oh Lord,
the name
I don't
tornado came from that. The name tornado came from that.
man, look here. Hey, when I first started driving, my nickname was Rabbit at first.
Come a rabbit.
You know, because I wasn't used to sleeping in the bunks.
Got you.
So I would get up every 2 hours. Even after driving 8, 10 hours, I would be up at in 2 hours because I wasn't used to it. So they
Right.
nicknamed me Rabbit until I shook it and started getting some rest. Go ahead.
That's just the way it was. So in actuality, I had researched everyone and I said, well, let me see what the brokers are like. Let me see what it's like to lease on. And I actually had my contract set a month and a half before I left my company. I had my truck sitting in my yard when I gave my notice. So I
Wow.
had everything set. So all the opposition, well, it's hard to find truck. It's sitting in my yard. Well, it's hard to find. Well, I got that contract already. It's like I'm ready because I knew that I had to make sure that when I left, I wasn't coming back. So you had some drivers over the years that left, and I'm not that person that has that ego problem. So every time, and they always were friends of mine. So I always say, what happened? Because I really want to know. Because I want to learn from what you did. I don't. If you learn from what you did, great. If you didn't, I'm gonna learn from what you did because I'm going to make sure that I don't follow in those same footsteps to make sure I do things differently. And if it's something I didn't
Sure,
know, then I just learned something.
sure, exactly, exactly. And that touch on how important it is to be on time on a pickup and a
Oh,
delivery, because I know all of that even travels back to relationship. How
it does.
important is it? Because once you got into your own truck, you already had relationships. Why?
Because I'm on time. My dad, ex-military, God bless it, and he used to teach us: if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. So if my appointment time is even now, if my appointment time is 8 o'clock, the broker will say you have an ETA, 6 o'clock, and sometimes they might put me out, and sometimes they might not. I'm normally at the most 2 hours early. I don't care if it's 30 minutes away. I'm 2 hours early for my pickups and my deliveries, which means planning. It means planning where I'm going to stop, planning if I have to stop, planning where I'm going to sleep, what time am I going to get up, am I going to be ready, did I look on my Google Maps to scope out the place, how much space is there, can I go closer, is there some place for me to park? If not, I'm going to be 20 minutes away. Let me do what I need to do. Let me get there because it could be a line of trucks. And if I'm there at 6 and my appointment time is 6, by the time I get to the front, it's now 7. And guess what? According to them, I'm late.
Well, to them, you're late. My wife, she be like, now I don't drive over the road anymore. I'm off the road, so I'm in a van. I drive for FedEx now, but I did that
Okay.
for over 13 years. I went from driving hazmat over into freight also. So I know about the hazmat world. I know about oversize. I know about the flatbed world. I know about the liquefied world. I know about
Right.
all of it. So when I leave, I got a 7 o'clock appointment, and it's 30 minutes away. And I leave at 5:30. She be like, "Why you leave so early?" I'm just I just like to get there, get settled in, and that's the way I used to be with trucking, and that's what you were just saying also. That
Right.
even if the load need to be delivered at 8, you're there at 6, or you're there at 7. You're never there at 8:45. I mean 7:45,
Negative. Negative.
because because you never know. You
You
never
can
know.
have a
Somebody,
flat.
yeah, yeah, and somebody may not have the right pickup number, and they jump
And
you
that's
right
that's
in front of
likely.
them.
That's likely. I
Oh, you
dealt with that. I went to Jersey and pick up a load, and they said, "Oh, well, we're sorry. So the other driver came." I said, "What other driver? It's just me." I was like, "No, no other driver came before me." And she was like, "Oh no, well, your load was ready, so we just told him to take that load." And I said, "And when is the next load?" And she said, "6 p.m." Here I'm looking at my watch. It's 1 p.m. I said, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Just go on there. Well, you could just take this number." I could, but I can't do that because I don't know what the broker set up. I'm
Mhm.
sure that the broker didn't set up for him to take my load without them contacting me.
Mhm.
Therefore,
Right,
somebody else could be on that number. So you give
right,
me that number. And now what does that driver have when they come? That's something that I don't do. I always have respect and courtesy for every driver, whether they give it back to me or not. That's not important. It's only important what you do.
right. That's a big point right there, because that's a nuance that a lot of drivers have to deal with. and a lot of drivers don't take that same attitude. Is okay, well, just give me his, and he could take mine. Well, you know what? What if they take mine away because I took his, and now he don't have
That
anything to pick up?
that owner operator with that company driver mentality, right there, right there.
Mm-hmm. So, I want to ask this because it's going to lead me into my next discussion.
Okay.
Um, single, married, complicated.
It's complicated, but it's simple. So that's just me. I'm sorry to bring my whole New York vibe to you, but that's just me.
Good, I
So
love
I,
this.
I am happily married to Mr. Abad Temple. This is my third marriage and his as well. And most of the time being a single mom, because I was most of the time raising the six kids. So yeah, it's not complicated. Tornado is who I am, is what they call me, and I live my life and raise my kids and run my loads the same way. Either we going this way or we going this way. It's not rocket science. It's just life. And I mean, my husband is so supportive. He supports me in everything I do, and it's just like he's in the next room right now. Like, you got this, baby. You got this. 'Cause he's like,
Hey, hey, and if he's in the next room, invite him in because I have a question for you
oh,
guys.
Ahmad, you're
So,
being summoned to the iPad. He's gonna be like, no, she didn't. Look, yeah. Oh Lord. Um, actually, the public is waiting on you. Like right now, they are waiting on you. He's like,
let's
oh, I
go,
can't
Ahmad.
believe
Let's
he did.
go, Ahmad.
They screaming, let's go, Ahmad. They waiting on you right now. Look, look, look. He said he didn't fix his hair, so excuse how he looks.
Hey, hey, we all good. We all
I
good.
thought so.
Hey, man, how y'all doing tonight? How you doing?
We
How
are doing good. I'm gonna take off my Bluetooth so he can hear you. Hold on.
Okay, okay,
Disconnect that.
okay. You
There
good?
you
Can you?
go. I'm good. So now
Okay.
he can hear you.
So I'm not going to hold you long, Mr. Ahmad. I just had a quick question because it was a big topic on my TikTok.
Okay.
How do you and Miss Temple survive with her on the road? Are you first of all, are you over the road or are you
Yeah,
city?
I'm both, but mostly I'm gone and then I come back
Mr.
again.
Ahmad, I'm
Yes,
going
sir.
in the most calm way.
Okay.
How do you sleep at night?
Whew. It's hard.
I
It's hard.
know.
Yeah, it's hard.
I know.
Yeah, it's
And
hard.
I want to get your opinion, and because some guys may be going through the same thing you're not going through, but you guys have kind of
Right.
like skilled on, right?
Right.
What are some tips you can give another gentleman whose wife may be over the road that can help him to be comfortable with your wife being out of your presence? Because I know you're protected. I can look at you and can tell.
Right. Right.
So give one of those guys some tips that you use in order for you to be okay and comfortable with your wife being over the road.
Oh man. The phone. The phone. The phone. Constantly phone calls. The phone calls.
That's the best thing they invented, huh?
Hearing their voice, man. Just hearing their voice, and I'm okay. I'm about to stop here, and she communicates with me to let me know where she's stopping. I'm stopping here to use the bathroom. I'm going here to get fuel, and everything is just she communicates with me well. So that's helped me sleep at night.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. And so that because I'm one like this here. You marry,
right,
God give you who you need,
right.
right? And so I was on the mode of I asked the question.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't sleep with my wife being over the road.
Okay.
And I told him, trucking is still kind of a prehistoric career.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that men still kind of stick their chest out and we still kind of run the industry, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Because even though we are ushering in, women truckers and everybody's bringing them in, welcoming them in with open arms, it's
Right.
still a male dominated industry.
Yeah.
So I still have an old school mentality of I
Okay.
need my wife here with me. And that's just me.
Right.
That's just me. And God gave me the wife that don't want to drive trucks.
Right. Right.
God gave you a wife
Right.
in the industry. You guys met while she was already in the industry, in that
Right.
career. So
He
you
actually used to
already knew.
load me. He used to load me when I was a hazmat driver. So we load.
Oh, excuse me, loader. I mean, she used to work me to death.
I'm a runner, so if you the loader, you gotta come on, let's get this
Man,
thing
let's
going.
not get into that.
Hey, but I guarantee you, when you used to work him, he used to
Right. Right.
he used to say, "Oh, okay, I think that's."
You remember?
That's the man for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's the man for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate that.
So, hey, man, I appreciate that tip. I know that phone is very important.
Exactly.
It's one of the best things they ever could have done for us as truckers, especially for couples like you guys
Right.
who are married and your wife is over the road. I know that was the. I mean, that's that. Hey, that ain't a bill that can be let go. That's one of them bills up there
That's
with.
right. And that FaceTime helps me out too.
Most definitely, bruh. So, hey, Mr. Ahmad, I want to thank you for coming on real quick. I had to
Salute,
get
man.
man.
Salute.
Let me tell you, man, thank you. Have
No
a
problem,
nice
man.
road and stay safe.
Oh, you too, man.
All right, man. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love to see couples winning in this industry.
Yes.
Me and my wife are winning, and that's what I love to see.
And you guys are definitely winning. I mean, he keeps himself busy way better than I could if it was vice versa. Because I'll call him and be like, "Hey, he be like, okay, well, I'm doing this and I'm gonna do this." And by the time it finished, I'm already stopped, and he's like, "All right, I'm ready to go to bed too." So it's like he'll save things. He'll save a lot of things
Right.
that he can do when he knows I'm leaving. So it
Mhm.
kind of helps as well.
So you guys are an example to me that it,
Oh, thank you.
it works. It works.
It works. It's
I,
not always easy,
I'm a
but it
big
works.
proponent. I'm a bit. I'm against it, but I know that everything is not for everybody. But I know that it works for people. Some people.
That's right.
Oh yes.
And it's good to see it, and it's good to see that everything is rolling strong. And man, congratulations to you guys. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
coming on and kind of putting it out there that some people can see that, hey man, we can make this work. You know
Oh
what I
yes, it's a sacrifice.
mean?
People
Gone, babe.
people think that it's not. The word sacrifice to different people means different things. So the
Right.
word sacrifice to someone might mean I'm not going to eat chicken until later on. No, it's the give and take. It's not about your fasting. Take that up with Jesus at another
Yeah,
time. But
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
about the give and take. Like sometimes I want to be home, but the
Mhm.
hustle is the hustle, and he
That's it.
understands that. And instead of him saying, well, I would like for you to be home too. He's like, hey, baby, just do what you do. I know where you're at. And my kids are they're all tracking me. Don't let me be anywhere. My kids will pull up on me in a minute. I mean, they're all tracking me. They're all tracking. So it's like, I'm
Yeah,
not doing
that's
anything.
good.
Pull up,
That's
pull up
good.
on me.
So
Pull
you
up on
guys,
me.
you guys have things in place to keep you safe, and that's what I be. And
Definitely.
that's the only thing that I have an issue with is my wife being safe, and you guys sound like y'all got everything in place to keep you safe.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
must.
let's talk on this. A young lady also, she she got on there and she was saying, why is it that we can take our babies on the road, but then when I ask you to take your babies on the road, you have an issue with it, ma'am? I'm going to ask you this. Now, this young lady, she has toddlers. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I don't want to say I want your opinion,
Okay.
but I guess it is your opinion if I ask you what you think.
So basically, you're asking me the woman takes the kids and the men don't want to take the kids, basically.
In the truck though, over the road. What's
Okay.
your opinion about that? Over the road, she take and shout out to her. She does, she TikToks with them, and she does a wonderful job. But for me, because my mind is in safety and compliance,
Right.
I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, what's wrong? You see what I'm saying? But she's making it happen because she has to make a living and she has to take care of her kids. And she's
Correct.
doing it. And she's
Doing
doing
the thing. Yeah.
she's
So
doing
that, but that goes back to being a mom. Okay.
Mhm,
So I think that, and this is again just my opinion. Don't
mhm,
don't shoot me for that. But I'm gonna say this. I think that a lot of times we women, if we're just talking about women for this just particular situation,
yeah,
so we as women and as mothers, we take on the role of whatever needs to be taken on. But
mhm,
I feel like sometimes we feel like that role should often be shared because we're doing it. We feel like someone else can do it,
mhm,
but not everybody can do what the one person does.
mhm.
Now, I've seen guys that have their older children. I've seen guys who have their grandchildren and they're like 12, 13 years old. Okay. I'm not one to judge. I was riding around with 270-pound pit bulls and now I got a baby giant Flemish rabbit. But hey, that's another story.
What? Hold on. What? Oh, what?
I have a baby giant Flemish rabbit who's now only 4 months and he's going to be 45 pounds. So if I love people, I love animals. This is what I do. I'm always helping. I
It's a
take care.
rabbit?
It's a rabbit.
Okay. The rabbit route. Oh, I've seen
Right.
it. That's not uncommon.
But my children
Okay.
are grown, so they ride
Right.
with me when they
Mhm,
can. But I've seen where mothers have to go
mhm,
ahead and get that child, and I get it because I was the one paying almost $500 a week for daycare,
mhm,
raising six children. It's not easy.
mhm.
But then again, I would not turn to any one of my mates and say, "Hey, it's your week." It's more along the lines of if they came to me and said, "Hey, I'm taking the kids," it's like, Lord help us all. Why is this happening? Why? What's going on? What's going on? I don't understand. Did you hit the lotto? You don't want to tell me? What's the
Mhm,
problem? So
mhm.
because that's a role I don't expect for people to
A man
take. But I
too.
think that some
Right.
people just want to feel equal. But certain things like parenting sometimes it's not equal because she might can control, and I'm pretty sure she does, can control time management, can
Mhm,
control when, where, what, how to do whatever. I
mhm.
wouldn't ask my husband to breastfeed the baby. Certain things I wouldn't ask him to do when it comes to other things. So yeah, it is a vast majority of people that probably gonna be like, I don't believe she said, but hey, the truth is the truth. We do what we have to do, but we can't also push that off on others to say, hey, they should be doing it too because they might not be capable. You don't know how often, if
Right.
they know how often to deal with a child or the time management when they used to running, and sometimes that's how they keep their focus. We are able, whether you're talking about single moms or single dads or just another parent, whether they're single or not, one parent is able to focus on multiple things when the other parent may not be able to not only focus on multiple things but multitask through those things and be successful with it.
Man, that's that. Hey, that's that. Hey, I couldn't sum that up any better because at the end of the day, my thing was more of a safety concern.
Mm-hmm.
And then with me, when I was over the road, and if I ever go back over the road, it's gonna be hazmat again. I'm in and out of hazmat plants, and we can't have any passengers.
And you know that's right. I know it.
Right. And so at the end of the day, I just think that it just depends on the lane you run, and a lot of different factors comes into it. And I think she's good with what she does, and I think she's put things in place because if
Absolutely.
if you have, I don't have a problem with her having her kids. If you have a dedicated route to where you go from A to B every day, or even to C, they know you, and so they know what your situation is because you have a relationship with them, and they're cool with you backing up to the dock because you can't go into the warehouse anyway. Maybe what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
So whatever she has going on, I think she has planned that out, and that's good. And so maybe what she's asking of their father, he's just not in that position to get things planned out like she has it. And
Right.
what you was basically just saying.
Right. And that's absolutely correct because I know you can't bring them in, but not even with hazmat. A lot of the customers I go to now, they don't want certain passengers, period. So I've
Mhm.
seen drivers that had to leave their wives, if they're
At the
not
truck
a
stop,
driver at
mhm,
the truck stop, if they allowed them to stay at the well, not with COVID, they didn't allow them to stay
mhm,
at the security shack anymore. But back in the day, they would allow allow you to go ahead and tell your
Yeah,
wife to have a seat or whatever, vice
yeah,
versa. So it is a difficult situation. She definitely has it to where she has the connections, and in saying that, then it just has to be, again, the word sacrifice. It's just, this is how it's gonna go. If you don't work on separate shifts and you're not local, or you don't run to where you have that support team to help with the kids, then you have to do what's necessary. But not everybody has that ability to do what you do. I can run 6 loads a day, and I still have guys that be like, "You crazy? No, I'm Tornado. This is what I do. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying this is how I roll. This is how
right,
I get
right,
done. And I'm
right.
tired. I'm going to sleep. I'm gonna be legal, but I'm gonna be sleep too. I'm
Yeah,
I'm not gonna drive tired. That's one thing about me. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Boy, boy, once I got to rolling, after about, I got my license back in '04, '03, and about a year and a half after that, I got to rolling. We we before Jim Jones had
Hmm.
Vamp Life, we was Vamp Life on the. I'm serious. We was calling ourselves Vamp Life because
Yes.
we ran with the company there, and we was taking pipe down to Brownsville from Navasota,
Okay.
and so we would load up at 3:30, 4:30 in the afternoon,
Hmm.
and from there we zoomed straight down to Brownsville.
Oh
So
yeah.
by time we got down there, it was dark. I mean, not down there, but by the time we got to is a city called Riviera, Texas. Oh, it was dark. So we vamp life. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
and even when we get ready, we used to get ready to go run loads to Button Willow, California. Used to run them pipe loads up there. We would probably leave out maybe 2, 3 in the morning on the Sunday
And
and
y'all was hustling. Oh, y'all
yeah,
was hustling.
yeah,
Oh yeah, y'all
yeah,
was getting it.
yeah, yeah. And we was vamp life then, but you didn't have Twitter, you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have
Right.
all of that kind of stuff to show. Hey, yeah, it's vamp life. You know what I'm saying? So it's just word of mouth now. That's what we
That's
used to do.
it.
Ain't nobody say, oh yeah, here we got it, because it wasn't even camera phones back then. So,
Right. It was
so
just y'all in the CB and people knowing y'all when y'all passing. That was it.
that's it.
And
That's
people
it.
don't understand. That's what brought the closeness to those of us veteran drivers. That's what it is. I
Yeah.
meet people that they see me for the first time and they're like, "Do you know the girl named Tornado?" I'm like, "Actually, I do," because they never seen me before, and they're like, "You're a tornado?" Like, I'm 5'3", so you can understand. They're like, that's not happening." But it's like you talk to people for 15 years on the radio and they never seen you. They
Never
just know
said
how they hear you. But there was
it.
nothing. You're
Yeah.
right. There was nothing to get us out there or anything like that, because everybody sees you getting it done, but they don't know what it takes to get it done. Like, I can bring you back to my oldest daughter, Artisha. When my twins were babies, I had to get up 3 hours early, feed them, change them, put them in the car seats, leave them in the room with her, so I can run and pick up my trailer, swap it out, come back, and then start my day. So you talking about extra hours because I was a single mom, and then skip 2 years later, it didn't change. It's like I tell people, being married don't change the fact that you might still be in single mom mode. No offense to the men. However, we bring it back to when my son Gabriel and he's playing football, and my daughter Kayla's playing basketball, and I'm starting early so I can finish my run. I'm going, picking him up from football, picking her up from basketball, picking up the other 3 kids from school. I go home, pop dinner in the oven, go back, and then he has to drop me off at my truck because I already stopped my middle of my day. And then he goes home, hey, dinner's already ready. He just got to make sure they eat. And then as soon as I finish, I'm coming home. So it's like it's always has to be some kind of strategy. You
Mhm.
might not have the support, but you have to make it work. You have to make that support. I always tell people it's not easy, but it's possible. So then the question I ask them is, how bad you really want this?
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, where you want to be? How far do you want to go in it?
So
And
let
then
me
that
ask
will
you,
determine it.
on that note, do you think some people get into trucking because trucking was a big trend right before the pandemic hit?
I think some people get in the truck because somebody done lied. You know, them truck drivers, they lie. Somebody done got
Lie.
up
Yeah.
at the truck stop and said, "Man, I done made $2,000 week. I ain't worked for 3 days." You know good and well. Stop, stop, stop it, because it's a lot of misconception as to what we have to do in order to not only make the money but maintain the steadiness of what is out there. And I think that a lot of people are just not willing to either be taught, or they don't know anybody that's willing to teach them. And I think they have the wrong perception. When I used to train, they send me with, I don't care if it's a man or woman. First question I ask, what made you get into this field? If you say the money, I tell them find somebody else to train, because I will not train you if that's the answer. Because if you don't respect what we doing out here, it's gonna make you respect it, but it won't do it while I'm in this truck. We will not be flipped over looking at the sky on an off ramp. No, ma'am. No, sir. It's not happening.
Man, that's my main thing when I train and when I'm training. If I train you, then I ask you that. But if I'm just certifying you
Right.
behind the wheel, FMCSA, I'm gonna be like, okay. So I'm finna certify you and check you just like
Yeah,
DMV.
that's right. That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So my thing is, my motto is man, if you don't have a love and a passion for this, it's gonna eat you up. And
Yeah,
I see
you
a lot
have to
of people,
drive it.
yeah.
People like to say, I want to drive a truck, but in order for you to be a truck driver and you want to make all these deliveries, you actually have to get there. You actually have to follow the rules of the road. You actually have to follow the rules of the hours of service. You have to follow the rules of whatever state you're in. You have to follow the rules of wherever the customer and shipper say. You actually have to drive and get there in order for you to get something there.
And then when you get there, guess what? You're going to have to be able to maneuver in a company that only have a one way out and a one way in.
Man, don't even talk about.
And
I you
you got to be able to tell if you can jackknife and bag down into this little bitty hole right here in order to get back out of here, or are you gonna have to back all the way out to the street and try to get you somebody that could flag faster down for you? You
don't
don't know what's gonna happen.
don't even go there, because my kids can tell you I didn't make this video till years and years after I was pulling certain hazmat, but I actually took a video, and the one thing my kids asked me was, "Did you just turn after the bushes and before the ditch? Like where are you going, mom?" So I wanted to make sure they didn't worry, because the directions is not always turn right on 8th Street. And
Woo.
sometimes the directions will tell you that, but when you see a no truck sign, go ahead and turn down there if you want to. Because I've been to places where I'm looking, and even now, the truck bigger than the place. I'm like, where you want me to be? All right, we gonna get this thing. We gonna get this thing done.
Yeah,
Listen, we gonna get it. We gonna get it. I always tell people it ain't how many times. It's not how many times you back it up and pull it up. It's that you don't hit anything.
that you
And
don't hear.
don't get stuck. Don't get stuck.
Oh
See
man,
yourself where you going before you get there.
yeah. Cause I've been seeing plenty of guys. I used to run flatbed, and we used to hire buildings for Schulte. And so
Okay.
man, we would strap those building down, and we would go to anywhere they would call for them buildings. And when you building something, it's a new build, so it doesn't have a permanent address.
Right.
So you have to call that number and say, hey man, what's the landmark? What's the store? What's this? Because my very first time hauling those buildings, those people was building a building in the middle of a cornfield. In the middle of a cornfield. And I'm telling you, I'm just looking like, huh. But moving on, we gonna
Yeah, we're not gonna scare the new truckers.
yeah, yeah.
Disclaimer. Forget about it. Everything is peaches and creams over here. Yeah.
So let's talk about your FMC, your boy. What are your duties? Um, what are you guys tasked to do? And give us just a little insight on what you're
Okay.
what you're doing.
So the driver panel board was actually created because the FMCSA realized that they needed to perhaps bring some drivers into their network so that they could make sure that if there's something that they want to pass or something that they want to suggest, they have the input of not only what the drivers think, but how would it affect different drivers
Okay,
negatively,
okay,
positively.
that's the first thing. So I'm
Yeah.
bring this up right now.
Okay.
This has been a hot topic on TikTok,
Oh
on
my
everything. This
God.
is speed limiters. That's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna let you speak on it.
Okay, well, we did hear about that, but that is not something that they have brought to the driver panel and said, hey, we need your input. So no sooner I get that email, we're all going to chime in. However, we have been chiming in through the website because you're allowed to
Mhm.
go on the website and give your input. A lot of things, I'm going to take that deep breath, a lot of things that are being pulled out of the woods, we're going to say, is just things that someone said, hey, this will make it more easier. But then the question that a lot of us have is, can you make it easier if you're able to include everyone?
Mhm.
Not just, the same thing going back to some of the no idle states.
Mhm.
We're still kind of back and forth on that. You
Mhm.
want everybody not to be polluting the air. We have the DEF. Why are we still being penalized? So that's another thing that's being fought right now because it's like the rules can help, but if you can include everybody and it's beneficial to the whole industry, fine. But if it's only going to be a certain number that can be included, then are we looking at this from a whole transportation standpoint, or we're just looking at somebody who screwed up? Forgive my language, but that's mostly where the rules come from. Somebody that screwed up and have a heavy foot. Bottom line, didn't learn what it is to be a trucker because they just said, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna do," and now everyone else, the innocent, have to suffer with the guilty, and this is what we're facing. So unfortunately, being on the driver panel, we only get to kind of input what we're not included on through the whole website, and then it'll come to our attention if they see, okay, this is something that we're really going to do. We need to get the driver's input
Okay.
because some things are good on paper, but not everything is good in real life.
So, what's your opinion on it? Because you're on the operator. Where do you stand? You're on the pro side, the con side. I mean, I can see both sides.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm like you. I can see both sides coming from a person who, and it's not bragging, but my safety and driving record is impeccable.
mhm.
So, and that's
Yeah,
because I choose
yeah,
it. It has to be that way.
yeah, 23
So
years,
I'm
Brad.
not speeding, not even in my own vehicle. I'm
Mhm.
not speeding, but it's like certain states, certain speeds is very difficult coming from a company driver standpoint when our trucks would only go 65 and we're in Carolina when it's 70.
Mhm.
So it's like we couldn't even get out of our own way, not even to bump it up to 70. Understandably so, it was a safety risk with, pulling
Yeah.
tankers and stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, it's just like, hey, if you need to come down harder on the ones that are speeding, do that first. I mean, if you need to hand out some thicker sanctions, let's do that first before we just revamp the whole this is how it needs to be and this is how it's going to be, because that's just not going to suit everyone. And people are always going to find a way to break out and do what they want to do regardless.
Mhm. I'm be honest with you. That's 65, and then with the ELD, uh, I'm be honest with you. It kind of it made me a safer driver. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Well, I
I'm
was a trainer, so I didn't, even in my own truck. Like if the speed limit is 70, my cruise is set, and I actually have all the safety things on my own truck. So I'm
Mhm.
an owner operator, and I have some friends that be like, "Take that stuff on the truck. You own the truck, yes." And because I want to continue owning this truck,
Mhm.
I'm not going to get to the point where we say that bad curse word that starts with a C, which is comfortable.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to be drifting. I'm not going to be too close to what I feel is far enough and it's not far enough. And all of a sudden it starts raining and the driver in front of me decides, oh, I don't even know if I want to drive or pull over to the shoulder. And I don't know what I want to do. And now I'm realizing I'm too close. So even being on my own, I'm always looking for the more safety. I didn't take any of the safety things off my truck because I bought an old Fleet Western Express truck. I didn't take anything off
Mhm. That's
because it's
good.
necessary for me.
Yeah, that's good. And it's necessary for your company because now
That's right.
your insurance will be more liable to take somebody on who may not have as much experience as they need, but because you got all of those things on your truck, they can now allow you to bring them on. They don't understand
Exactly.
all of that stuff plays a big part in your insurance. So go ahead on with your we got sidetracked with with the board of FMCSA.
Yeah, we we're basically just on standby. So you can think of us like the board members on standby. We're like,
Yeah,
on the
okay.
phones, like, yeah, can I help you? That's what we are. We're just,
Okay.
yeah, because they have to reach out and say, hey, now if enough of us get together and say, this is how we feel about a certain topic, then they will reach out and say, okay, this is, but that's the problem out here. I'm not only talking about with our culture, but with drivers as a whole. We don't have no idea what the word unity means.
Oh no. No, no, no,
And
no.
it's non-existent, which is why a lot of things that could get done won't get done. The same way, like we fight for the rates and have to negotiate because you have a driver that wants to take it for $3 less than what they taking it for free. I mean, you could just take them loads for free and just do us all a favor because it's hurting the industry.
That's what happened in oh 07, oh 08 when they stopped when they stopped drilling.
Mm-hmm.
They was going 700 miles for $208.
Lord have mercy. It's just it's not good. And I see and talk to a lot of drivers and they'll sit and tell me how much they're running and I say yeah, I can't do that. So if it's not feasible, I'm not gonna run and please the brokers because that's not helping me. Who's gonna put fuel in the truck?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna keep looking. I think that there's a laziness out there, and I hate to call the other drivers lazy. They can take it up with me later. I'm a big girl, I can handle it. But I hate to call the people lazy, but like they will look on one board. You know how many boards there are?
Oh
Then
yeah.
again, it's like not only the other boards, but we're going back to the relationships.
Mhm.
You wouldn't have to search if you had the
Exactly. Like,
relationships with the brokers to where they knew what you're about. I have a broker that will text me and say, Angie, I got this load. I ain't even send it to you because it's not. I don't even want you to even tell me off today because I already know what you're gonna say. So if you have that relationship and you are proving that you are not a liability, because that's another
right.
thing. It's their job to prove that they are important. Don't say, oh, I can get this done. Then next thing you know, my dog sneezed. I think he's sick. I think the cat is just need his nails done, and I think my mama probably gonna need me cook greens. No, get it done.
Get it
Get
done.
it done. So that way they can know
Done.
that you are reliable, and that way we don't have to be out here fighting because we're fighting against ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're fighting against ourselves. You got guys out here that are making under 1,000 a week as owner operators, and they're preaching to other people saying, "Hey, this is where you need to be." They're not telling you that they're at home living with their mama. I'm gonna put it out there. They ain't telling you that they're living with the girlfriend and the girlfriend is paying all the bills because it's her. But they're not telling you their situations. They're just telling you what they're making. They're not telling you what they're putting out. What about truck insurance? What about the fuel? What about the maintenance? What about the truck note if it's not paid for? What about you still have to eat?
You gotta
I
eat.
mean, it's just so much that goes into it that they're leaving out, and that's why people are failing, and that's just why people have, like I say, the misconception of what trucking is when they come out here, which is why they don't last. But we
I'm.
not quitters. You and I, we not quitters. My
Oh no.
daddy
No.
raised
No.
no quitters.
Oh no. No. I'm just glad. I'm just glad I have female she trucks saying the same thing I've been saying for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Behind here, I've been saying it ever since I've been in trucking. But since I've been on here, you just emphasize from another side what I've been saying.
Right, and
So
he didn't tell me first, so let's just go and get that out there. We didn't discuss
this is
nothing. He just
this.
put me on, and I was like, "Yeah, I am." That's it.
Hey, anybody who's been on here, they already know. I don't send them no list of questions. This
Right.
this is just so as organic as you can get it. Somebody might get on here and say, "Yeah, man, I don't like the way you say this here." Oh, you
I'm
know,
sorry.
they might be like, "Yeah, I want to do it, man. I'm gonna chuck da 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 da," and then get on here because I don't. I bet you, and I look at your content, but then at the same time, I don't do it deep like that. Who is she? Let me see if they gonna be. Nah, I just want to get your story. I want
Right.
to talk to you, where you come from, what made you get into trucking. You might get on here and curse me out and want to go out into my background and tell me what I ain't doing and where I live and all that. I don't know. That's just how organic the podcast is. I don't send a list of questions or nothing. We just let it roll, and
I love it.
we've been
I
rolling
love.
for an hour. I done took up an hour of your time.
No, you're fine.
So
You are fine.
jump into into the important part of what I think this episode would really hone in on is the conference in Dallas.
Yes, the Accelerate Conference, the
No,
Women in Trucking
I'm not even going to
Accelerate
you.
Conference.
I'm not going to interrupt you. Please tell all the ladies, the female truckers, and everything about what's going on in Dallas.
Okay, so Dallas, Texas, I would say mark it on your calendar. It's coming up very soon. November 13th through the 16th. Every year we have this conference. So Women in Trucking, first of all, for those who don't know what Women in Trucking is, Women in Trucking is a nonprofit organization, and what we do there, and it's the co-founder, the founder, the mother of the group, Miss Ellen Boyer. Shout out to her because she is very, very crucial when it comes to us talking about this. So basically what we do is we don't just bring the women, we talk to men too. Let me just say that as a disclaimer because I don't want anybody to think it's just women.
All inclusive.
However, we promote, we just celebrate, we support, meaning we do mentorship. We have women that are just getting into the industry, we have women who've been into the industry, we have women who are going to school currently to try to get into the industry. We have the resources. They can call one of us. They can go online, and once they become members or whatever, they can even look online, and the resources are there. Like
Yeah,
you can reach out and see
before
where's
you
the nearest school near me. You know, what can
before
I
you
do?
continue, give me the website so I can put it in my comments. Where can they go and see that?
They can. They could actually go unless they change it. They could go. They can go on Women in Trucking and it will say .org and it will lead you. Actually, I'm still on there. So if you go on womenintrucking.org, the first page you're gonna see is mine with the shorter hair, of course. But yeah, so basically this is what we do. We try to make sure that women are feeling like they are treated equal, and not only feeling like that, but make sure it's actually being done. And we don't just promote drivers. So it's every woman or every person that is involved in the industry, from the dispatchers to the brokers, to the business owners, to everyone that makes up the industry as a whole.
And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so, and I'm glad you said that men are included, and I
Oh
and I
yes.
and I know you guys have a lot of men that are pushing, just like I push my wife, and I help my wife when she's in her mode. And so, what else will be going on December the 13th? What are some of the events and some of the things you have going on that day?
Well, basically, I know I have a lot going on separately within the conference, inside the conference, but we basically do everything from panel discussion to sessions. So once they go on the website, they'll be able to see it's different sessions, different times, and it's basically just the whole 3 days of just networking and getting more better at certain things. You're going to talk to everybody from shippers to accountants to dispatchers to transportation owners. You're going to talk to the front line and the back line, the middle, the side, top, bottom. It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to be there. I'm going to be there. So I don't know why nobody want to be there. I'm going to be there. Come and see me. If you don't want to come for nothing else, come on. I got your lunch. I got your lunch. But I mean, basically, it's just a big family. Like we meet people and they don't understand that this is the community right here. This is how we reach out and connect other people and let them know you can do this. You can do this. And it's just the respect level is high. It's always 150 when you go there. So you sit and you pick which discussion you want to be a part of. And you get to, just like we're doing, people will get to ask questions at the end of the discussion. And it's just like a one-on-one. It might be one on 50, but it's a one-on-one to us, for us to be able to sit there, and to the people as well. We get to sit in different panel discussions, and some things we get to ask questions about whatever we're unclear on, from everything from self-defense to driving to shipping freight. I mean, it is nothing exempt. There's nothing exempt.
Man, that's so wonderful. I'm sitting here looking at an article right now on Trucker News. On November the 9th, they just had a first meeting for FMCSA's Women of Trucking Board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I just seen that, and it happened on November the 9th, and I think they got like 16 members. And
Yes, and
it's
the founder of Women in Trucking is on a couple of boards. Miss Ellen Voya is on a couple of boards with the FMCSA. Absolutely, like she's involved, and we have to do the same thing. We have to be involved because we can't just say we're gonna just encourage women. We actually have to put that into action. I
Mhm.
mean, like I'm stopping women at the truck stop. I mean, I they say you're a driver. I say, are you? They say yeah. They say no. I say, why not? What's going on? I'm giving out business cards and everything.
Let me pose a question to you, and I might even because I did me and Flatbed Diva.
Okay.
We when I was interviewing her, we had a conversation about this, and I said, why do you think the relationship between, and I'm gonna just say it,
Just say it.
the black male trucker
Mm-hmm.
and the black female trucker,
Mm-hmm.
why is it so hard for us to connect in this industry without it being some type of motive from either side? From either side. And she gave me her opinion. I gave her my opinion. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna form a panel and I'm gonna do a podcast and I'm gonna have three women, which I have my three now.
Okay.
You,
See, we don't get choices. We just
you get
right.
picked.
Tell me what time. Tell me what time.
Don't be so good. That's what I came to find out. That's what I came to find out when people used to just volunteer me. You know what I mean? Well, I know you can get it done. Yeah, but do I want to get it done? You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm going to ask you, and I want you to think about it.
Oh,
But
I don't have to think about it. We talk about that all the time.
yeah, uh, Flatbed Diva, you, and the Diesel Diva. And
Okay.
so I want you guys because you guys have been in the industry and you guys have experience in all forms of life, not just trucking. And this is the relationship between the female truck and the. Why do you think it's so strained? Why is the line so? Why is the line so hard to the dots so hard to connect when it comes to us? Because when you try to help, quote unquote, that female driver that you think may be in distress,
Mm-hmm.
but because she's in another mind frame of, oh, this nigga might help me and want something from me. Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way, that's the mentality. Why do you think it's like that?
I think that it starts way before trucking. Let me just say that. Let me just say that because way before trucking, you have those ones that will go out there and every man, if we're talking about female point of view, I'm a female, so I'm gonna talk about it.
That's what I
So
want.
we're talking about every man wants them, and not only every man, but every woman's man want them too.
Mm.
Okay. So and then we'll go from the male point of view. Some of them feel the same way. Okay, so I ran into it, and I think that the bottom line. I don't even know how long we could talk about this. We're probably going to be here another 2 hours. But the
Nah,
bottom line is we have to learn how to set boundaries. Number one, men, stay with your wife. If you got somebody at home, what you looking for out there? Women, stay with your husband. You have someone at home. Don't be flirting with everybody in the street. It's a
pen, pen,
boundary that
pen.
has to be.
Hold on, pen. Women dress like you want respect.
Thank you. And see, I was getting there, and I said that on another. I did another video for another company, and they asked that same question, and I said, listen, we have to make sure that we're not coming out here in what we call poom poom shots, okay? And then all of a sudden, I don't know why he disrespect me. You don't know. Hold on, let me get my camera, love. Let me just go and take this picture for you because you have to have a certain respect about you. When I'm going out in my truck, I have on either work pants, my jeans, I have a shirt, I have a hoodie, and I have work boots on. Okay.
Now, let me
I
say
am there
this.
to work.
Let me say this. No woman, no man, regardless to how they're dressed, deserves to be harassed.
Negative. That is a fact. They do not
They
deserve
do
to be
not
harassed.
deserve to be
No.
harassed. But I will say the same thing you just said. If I pull up in a pipe yard,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you getting out of your truck in booty shorts and flip flops trying to strap down a load.
Right.
Men too. I don't need you getting out in tights. Men wear tights too,
Yes, and
and
flip flops.
and in your Jordans, flip flops, tightening down a load of pipe.
Right.
Get out in your PPE. Because if
You're gonna get the attention regardless. I
regardless,
mean, because no matter
regardless,
how you dress, you're gonna get the attention
let me tell you why.
regardless.
Let me tell you why. Because it's like I said before, we are still glamorized, or how can I say this? We're still fascinated with the fact that you're pretty and you're in trucking. Trucking is not a glamorous career.
No, come and spend a week with me and see.
But but
Yes.
but for the women who are glamorous and they are glamorizing trucking, which is not a bad thing, but for the women who are glamorous and they're still getting their nails done, they're still getting their makeup done, they're still fly behind the wheel, and that's all good and
It
fine.
is.
It's
Absolutely.
wonderful to see, but at the same time, you do have to understand most of the men that are in this industry are single.
Yes.
And they see you, you could have on baggy clothes. If your makeup's done and your hair done, and they see your fingernails are done, they're gonna shoot their shot. And I'm
And
not
right. And it's up to the other individual to say yes or no. Someone can come up to me at the
exactly,
truck stop and say, "You're
exactly.
the most prettiest truck I've seen." I said, "Thank you." My husband tells me that almost every day. We're gonna cut this conversation short right here. Right here. We're gonna cut it short right here, baby. We're not about to go any further than what you just went. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Because we're not going there. We're not going there.
But
We're not.
that's the level of respect.
Right.
It's a way to say that, and it's a way to say this without being disrespectful.
Right.
And I do know men and women take it too far. It's on both sides. It's not one sided. But we have to learn how to accept rejection or accept that, oh, she's taken, he's taken, and
Hmm.
move on. I still
Absolutely.
I still can assist you with your load. I don't
Right.
I can still assist you with your load. I don't care if you're married, single. I just want you to be safe. I don't want you to lose your load, because if you lose your load, FMCSA gonna have something to say about it.
Right. And I go through the same thing. I have some guys that I know I can help, either when they're backing up to a dock, whatever. Soon as I show up and I say, "Hey, you want me to?" I don't need your help. Why? Because I'm a woman. I mean, it's really ridiculous. I had a stranger come up to me in the truck stop because he couldn't slide his tandems. And
Mhm.
he said, I don't even know if I should ask you this. But do you happen to have a hammer? I said, now why did you need to say you don't know if you should ask me? I said, I'm in this truck, right? I
Mhm.
said, did you expect me to have one when you pulled up to me? And he said, yeah. I said, well, I have one. And not only that, I had to help him slide it because he really didn't have the knowledge. And he was like, "Thank you so much." I said, "That's no issue." Because there has to be some kind of ground point to where they understand we're not the enemy, just like they're not the enemy to us. And certain men are not going to take, oh, she's taken or whatever for an answer. And certain women the same way are not going to take that. So either you're going to stand there and have a conversation and lead someone on, or you're going to walk away and do what you need to do to make sure that that conversation ends right there.
That's what we want to talk about on our panel, and we're going to dig deep on that, because I really want to get the relationship between us.
Right.
I want to get that relationship pinned up. I want to, and I know it's not going to reach everybody, but it needs to start the conversation somewhere. And I
If it
will,
reaches one, then you've succeeded. You
mhm,
succeeded. All it has to do is reach one.
and I would love for that conversation to start here on the
It
Freight
will.
Travel Podcast. Yeah, on the Freight Travel Podcast. Any last words before I let you go? I had you here about an hour and a half. Any
No,
last words before I let you go?
I just want to say to the women and the men out there that are trucking, thank you for your service. To all of you guys that are doing the podcast or the YouTubes or whatever you're doing, thank you for your service. Keep on doing what y'all doing. Be safe in what you're doing, and if you're not in it, get in it. No matter where you fit in, get in. Dispatcher, driver, whatever it is, we need you out here. We're out here making this work. We need you. You're the missing piece. Let's get this thing going. We not going nowhere. We out here.
Hey, I want to thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the Freight Trapping Podcast. Tell Mr. Ahmad I said thank you.
I'll let him know.
On. Thank you for allowing us to take his time because this is an hour you guys could have been doing anything.
Oh
So
no, you got him on something. I'm in shock right now because I mean, I ain't got so I need to be thanking you. Thank you.
hey, we will be in touch. If you need anything, you need me to announce anything, you need me to post a flyer to my page, you need me to got a question, because I'm down here in Houston, Texas. We have training facility. We have Roberts CLA, Roberts Transportation and Logistics Academy. My wife, she does training for dispatcher, brokers, and we are set up for the ELDT training, behind the wheel and theory. So if you have any questions, you have anything you need for us to check, I might know it. I'm if I have a FMCSA question, I'm damn sure gonna hit you up, email, check
Why you
in.
gonna single me out? Why you gonna say that?
Hey, check your email. So I want to thank you. It has been a pleasure. I think this has been one of the most joyful podcasts that I've had, and one of the most informational also.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate you.
keep me in mind. We're going to do that panel, and I will be in contact with you, and I will email you.
I will definitely be there. All you have to do is tell me the when and the where. Don't even ask me if I want to do it or not, because I mean, if it's really passionate for you, you don't
Mhm.
have to ask. If somebody wants to do it, you just have to ask. Is this a good day for you?
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's the bottom line.
Okay. We own it. We
We
going
own it.
we
We
own it.
got it.
We
We
got
family now.
it.
You have no
Yes,
choice. You stuck now. Y'all
yes,
stuck
ma'am.
now.
Hey man, you guys have a good night. Stay safe, be blessed and favored, and I will talk to you soon.
Yes, you will. Thank you. And
Yes,
safe
ma'am. Thank
travels
you
and
so much.
blessings to the
Thank you so
family.
much. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right.
Yes, that was Miss Angelique Temple. I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We took up enough of your time, so we're going to be out of here, and we will talk to you on next time. And we are gone. If you have any questions, just email us at the Podcast at gmail.com, and we will talk to you soon.